Hi, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe, like the video, leave me comments down below. I would always love to read the comments and let me know what you felt about the first part of this story. So this is the full video of me removing all the pimples from my sister's face. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded videos earlier. I was a bit down, but I'm stronger now. So we're back to creating and uploading videos by God's grace. I'll also be going live very soon. I don't know when. Maybe the live will go up before this video. I'm not so sure yet, but I know I'll be going live very soon. So also be on the lookout for that. That being said and done, do not forget to like the video, subscribe if you haven't done it so, turn on your bell notifications and leave the comments below. So I'm going to continue the story of Michael, his new wife, Sarah, and the kids. So after Michael got married and brought Sarah back and brought his new wife back into the house, Sarah couldn't stand it and moved out of the house into the boys' quarters, pending when she will get her own space and permanently move out of Michael's house, because it was so obvious that Michael had moved on with his life without Sarah. So at this point, Sarah was very heartbroken, but the only consolation she had was the fact that she didn't have to rely on him. She had a business that was thriving beautifully well. She had people working for her. So one day, when Michael came back to the house, there were no kids playing outside. He didn't hear the cry of any baby. So he felt everything is normal. He went inside to his new wife. They were all lovey-dovey, forgetting there was someone who was there with him when he had nothing to, when he has something now. So because the wife was funding his lifestyle, you know, she's supposed to do everything possible to make sure that she's happy, she's comfortable, no complaints, so that the money can keep coming. One fateful day, Michael went out and came back and asked his wife if he has by any chance seen Sarah, if she has by any chance seen Sarah or the kids around. And she said no. The security man also said Sarah was not at home, but the man refused to tell Michael that Sarah had moved out of the house. So Michael went to the backyard to see if Sarah was at home with the kids, but then he noticed that Sarah had left the house. Sarah was no more at home. Everywhere was empty. There was, in fact, there was no trace of anybody in the compound. Michael started calling and calling and calling. The number was not connected. So the funny part of the story is when Sarah left Michael's house and found a small apartment, she started with a small apartment, although she knew she had the money to get a bigger space. But she started with a small apartment. So the small apartment that she started with was able to house her unborn child and the first child she had. So what she did was she made sure that she continued going for her antenatals and didn't really allow the matter weigh her down. Although she was pretty angry about the whole scenario and everything that played out between her and Michael. So one day, Sarah went to the hospital and they told her that it's, it's possible that we have to induce you for the labor to start. So she pleaded with the doctor that she has no one to take care of her 1 year old. Let the doctor just give her today. Let her go home, take care of whoever is going to stay with her 1 year old, and then bring her hospital things and come back in the morning to the hospital. Well, with how critical the condition is, the doctor was dragging his feet, but he later accepted that she must come back as early as possible the next day. So Sarah went home and then she called her sales team, the people that were selling for her, and had a brief meeting with them at the store and told them her plight. And this is what she's going through now, and she has no one with her to take care of the kids and all that. Then an elderly lady that was a part of her team told her that she doesn't mind taking care of her son and staying in the house till she comes back from the hospital. You need to see the joy on Sarah's face when she heard this. In fact, everybody in the store was willing to lend a helping hand one way or the other. One person said he's going to accompany her to the hospital in the morning, then later come back to the shop. She had about staffs working under her, and all of them were willing to give her a helping hand. That's the best part of when you're good to your staffs and now you need someone with you. Obviously, they're going to show up for you. So that being said and done, she had someone to take care of her baby boy at home, and then she had someone to accompany her to the hospital. Everybody rallied round. They closed the store early. They went home, packed her hospital bag. So she gave money for the necessary things needed at home till she's back from the hospital. And the moment she left to the hospital as early as possible. When she went to the hospital, she told the doctor she has no one to sign any consent from a case of emergency. So they should just give her everything that needs to be signed for her to sign before they knock her unconscious and do whatever it is they need to do to bring out her baby alive. After signing all the necessary consents form, they tried inducing her, but the labor was taking too long and she was in so much pain. So they had to do an emergency CS on her to save her life and that of the baby. Thank God she had signed that earlier. That was done. The baby was delivered healthy, hearty, bouncing, so beautiful. Actually, it was a baby girl. The first child she had was a boy. So it was a baby girl. And she was so happy when she regained consciousness and they told her that everything is perfectly fine. The baby is healthy, she's okay, no complications whatsoever, but that they just needed to monitor her for a certain amount of time before she can be discharged. Everybody was so happy, but then Michael went in search for Sarah. Unknown to him, Sarah has already put to bed. He searched everywhere. When Sarah left his house, Sarah changed her number, so there was no way he could reach her. There's also no way he could know that Sarah has a business. Absolutely no way. So Sarah just lived under the radar, not caring what Michael was doing, obviously because he had moved on with his life and she didn't want to be like a stumbling block to him and all that. So days passed, months passed, weeks passed, years passed. Michael was still searching. At this time, Sarah had moved on, and when the kids asked after their father, she didn't lie about anything. She just told them, when you're ready to meet your father, I'll take you to him if he's still living there. Or this is what he did, and this is why I left. So the kids at that tender age didn't really understand the gravity. They just understood that their father left their mother and got married to another lady, and the mother moved on. The mother gave them the best life has to offer. Sarah made sure she went all out for her kids, not minding that she didn't really go to school, but she made sure her kids had the very best life had to offer. Put them in the best of schools, the best toys, the best birthday parties. Oh, those children really did have fun, I'm telling you. Those children really, really did have fun. One day, Michael's wife had issues with Michael. So Michael started asking her, what's going on? It's been 5 years since we got married. No miscarriage, no child, no this, no that. And the woman was like, am I the one that gives children? Not the one that gives children, it's God. Unknown to Michael. She had had medical problems earlier, and her womb was removed. She didn't tell Michael, so she just, blamed it on God, hoping that Michael would understand. Now, this made Michael search deeper for his children, deeper and deeper for Sarah and her kids. But unfortunately, they were living just in sight, but out of sight. I hope you understand what that means. They were close, but they were far. So, one day, Michael's wife heard that there's someone in the estate that shops for people. So you don't need to go to the market and do all that. You just need to contact the person and get everything done. That's how she placed the call to the customer care number. Thank God it was not Sarah's main line. So it's a customer service line. So she called the person, and the person was able to give her all the details of what they do as a business, and she started patronizing her. Years passed, extra years came in. They didn't know who their personal shopper was. Until one day, they couldn't do the delivery to the house as usual, and Michael's wife sent Michael to stop by the shop to get their products. Now, this is where Michael realized that the personal shopper is his ex-girlfriend. When he entered the store, it was boldly pasted. Her picture was boldly pasted. But when you are poor and you take a picture, and when you are rich, you take another picture, there's actually some changes. Yeah, there's some changes in her, but he was contemplating, could it be her? The person looks so much like her, but how did she get this way? Is she rich now? That's the thought that got into his head. He was in between. Could it be her? Could it not be her? Could it not be her? Then the driver brought back the kids from school. The kids came in running up and down. Auntie, good afternoon, greeting the storekeepers. Then ran back to their mother's office. Michael was just wondering, are this his children? Could it be his ex-girlfriend's store? What's going on? So he decided to dig deeper to know who really owns the store and if those kids are his. Then they found out that, of course, Store belongs to Sarah, and yes, those kids are his. But how to approach Sarah became a problem because, of course, he knew he had fucked up badly. Excuse the F word. He just needed to somehow approach Sarah. So he summoned up courage when they walked into the store and said he wanted to see the owner. Sarah had already sighted him from the CCTV camera and came out of her office to the lobby and was like, "Sarah, is this you?" Politely, she said yes. Put out a hand for a handshake, on which he was so startled he couldn't move an inch. Then Sarah asked, "Do you want an appointment, or do you want to talk about business, or do you want to show?" He was like, he wants to talk about personal issues. So, because she had nothing biased against him, the fact that he jilted her does not mean that she had to hold grudges, put a restraining order on him and all that. No, Sarah was very open. So she showed him the way into her office, but sat down. But before Michael could have the courage to mutter anything, it took a long while for that to happen. When he finally summoned the courage, he went on his knees first and begged Sarah to forgive him. Sarah said he has nothing against him, and she has moved on since with her life and is not interested in anything that he feels is going on. Michael found out how hard to believe, was still trying to, beg for forgiveness and all that. Then Sarah said he should just go straight to the point of why he's here. So he went and said he's sorry that he hurt her and abandoned her when she needed him the most, and asked after the welfare of the kids, how the kids are, and if he can go ahead and contribute, to their well-being. Sarah rejected that she's perfectly fine and capable of taking care of her children, but that if he wants a meeting with the children, he has to come back with his lawyer some other time, and she will also bring her lawyer, and then both of them will sit and talk about how to co-parent. Michael agreed to that. He brought his lawyer from the same date. They both sat and talked about it. And then one day, Sarah, allowed the kids to see Michael. On that fateful day, she didn't go. She sent someone to go and stay with the kids till they were done with their fatherly bond meeting. But before that, the first day he came to the office to have the personal conversation with her, she had introduced the kids to their father and told them that sometime if he wants to see them, they will have to meet with him and talk and ask questions when necessary. So she didn't want to be there for that sake because, of course, she's human, she has feelings. So the kids went alone with someone matured, and Sarah was given feedback on how that went. So, bottom line, or the summary of the story is Michael stayed married to his wife even when she couldn't give him a child because he was concerned that he has children outside. Now, the wife never knew that he had reconciled with his first love and the children. So he just lived his life without telling her. And I believe they were fine. But for Sarah had moved on since she had outlets, store outlets scattered around the city. Her business was really blooming. And of course, she got someone's attention. And I would say they lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed the story. Tell me if this story turned out the way you expected or it didn't turn out the way you expected. Alright, till I see you all in another video. Just enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.